estate brokers, team leaders, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation that we're going to have today about helping you really recruit more agents, retain the agents that you're getting, adding more value, and just getting way more business overall. My name is Joseph Aaron, and I'm the leader of a digital marketing agency that's going to do over $1 billion in closings over the course of the next year. And this is Peter, who is, in my opinion, the greatest marketer on the planet right now when it comes to real estate stuff. That's a big one. He's like, wait a second, Joe, I'm not sure about that. Yeah. Peter, go ahead, talk. They all want to hear you talk.
Yeah. So Peter Hopkins, I'm from England, but I've been here in America for 11 years, and we're here having a great time on the east coast of Florida.
Yeah, Peter's been doing real estate marketing since 1998, which is when I was graduating high school. You didn't know that, did you? Making you feel old, aren't I? But he is crushing the game. A lot of the things, we're going to share some of the results that he's getting. We can't get too deep into the numbers because of confidentiality and stuff like that. But we can tell you that there are some amazing things that are happening in the real estate world right now, but there's some common problems that we're seeing from real estate brokers and team leaders all across the country. So what are some of the things that you're seeing as the common trends for the brokers?
Okay, I mean, the biggest thing that people want to talk about when it comes to a concept, an idea about getting more business for a real estate company is that they always talk about what doesn't work. They always talk about what's going to scare you to death and what's changed recently and why what you're doing now is going to fail and you're doomed, and without me and without you we're out of business. Okay, that is all utter garbage. Okay, so what...
Ooh, I thought you were going to cuss there. All right,
I'm not going to cuss. What does work, okay, is what always has worked. Real estate has not changed at all in terms of the toe-to-toe, belly-to-belly, eye-to-eye conversations that are required to close deals. That's why it's the only industry that's not actually been interrupted. In the same way that, you know, lots of other industries, travel agents have just gone. You know, obviously it's the niche agents. So people...
That is so funny. I gotta say this. It's so funny that you say that because I'm third generation. My grandfather, old Italian godfather, that guy, used to look at me. We're all Joe, and he'd look at me and say, "Little Joe," you know, just like you were watching a mafia movie. And he'd say, that real estate is an eyeball-to-eyeball, belly-to-belly business, right? And it is. Like he was doing that in the '60s and crushing it, and it still is today. But the question is,
how do we do it? Okay, so what we need to do is we've got to really use a story or an analogy, if you like. So back in the day when I started, there was no MLS, there was no buyer's agents. If you listed, you lasted. If you had a house to sell, you were good. People would have to come to a bricks and mortar storefront to actually see a property. MLS book. They wouldn't be allowed to see the MLS book because it was in your pocket. That's where the term pocket listing came from. The broker had it in the pocket. And everything's kind of moved along. But what hasn't changed is there are two human beings, and one of them is trying to facilitate and solve the other person's problems. So one of them wants to trust and know that they're dealing with someone that they can trust. And the other person wants to serve and wants to build a relationship. So the people side of the business has not changed. What has changed, instead of them coming into that bricks and mortar store, instead of them even looking in newspapers, instead of them, you know, finding a magazine down the gas station, it's online. So if your business is a broker and if your whole concept isn't online and what you've got
I feel you guys like saying, oh, I already know this. So I want to give you a little perspective on Peter, because all I said was he's crushing it, right? So Peter, let me just show you guys. I don't know how much you can see this this chart. If not, we'll put it on the screenshot if this doesn't work well for you on video. But Peter has done some really groundbreaking things that, as far as I know, from what I've seen, and he's very humble about this stuff, so he always kind of like, but it's true. He's crushing it in a way that nobody else is, using tools that most brokers and brokerages already have. Right? We're going to get into the system. We're going to talk to you about how to kind of set that system up for yourself in this video. But just so you know, like, it's not only that he's got a cool English accent, he's done some pretty amazing things with brokerages. And here's proof from inside of one of the accounts.
So to quickly kind of recap on the online thing. So everyone's saying it. Everyone's saying the same thing online. But what do you do online? And that's where everybody in my world is kind of doing it the opposite way around. So what I did was the story.
Well, most of them are saying most internet leads are crap, right?
Well, they are.
Yeah.
97% failure rate is a success.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you convert 3, you're a miracle worker. 3%. So, but that doesn't
Then
need
you're
to
a
be that
miracle
way.
worker.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be that way.
Right.
So, and it's because we're taking the wrong approach. What we're really doing is it's like trawler fishing. Okay. So you go out into the ocean. You've got a great big trawler. You've got a massive, great big net, and you sweep up every single fish in the ocean. You pull them all on the deck, and you take 3 of them and do business. You know, take 3 of them and have supper. Okay, that's not the way to do this. It's about taking really the same principles that you've always done as a good broker and a good agent, and actually reaching out to the human side of a person, talking to them about stories. Yeah.
Okay.
Right? So it's not about technology, it's not about the latest gadget, it's not about what's smashing it on real estate right now, you know.
Right.
It's about relationships. And relationships can be conducted online. That's what I mean by online.
Okay.
So my analogy is the floor call, okay? Back in the day, and I say back in the day, a few years ago, you know,
Right.
I mean, the first online commercial transaction was Pizza Hut, okay?
Right.
And somebody ordered a pepperoni pizza 20 years ago.
Right.
It's right on the box. Right now, they're celebrating it at Pizza Hut. We've been selling pizzas online for 24 years.
Right.
So this isn't new technology. It's certainly not new to the people using it.
Right.
What it is, as agents and as brokers, we've got a mindset that this is somehow in the way. Okay? So here's the news. This essentially is your storefront. And behind the storefront, you need to have a clerk to meet the person, you need to have an agent to talk and chat with them, you need to have that book, the MLS, you need to have those facilities in such an environment that the client just feels comfortable being able to express what they need, when they need it, and they want to get information that's absolutely pertinent to them and really accurate, delivered to them by a human being.
I
So
remember
that's the difference.
we had this old commercial building that right across from the courthouse that my family owned. And when I was a kid, I'd be there at the real estate office, and people would they'd walk in, they'd come in to see me, they'd call about the property. My grandfather would talk to them about the property for a little bit. He'd say, come on in, let's go see it. They'd come to the office, and they'd have this conversation at the office, and then they would go out and see the properties. Like, that's how it was.
Yeah.
What you're proposing, and really it's not a proposal, you're doing
it's
this,
proof.
is there is a virtual floor out there now that you can bring people into, have those same kinds of conversations, and then either go see houses or go to those properties, right?
Yeah. So one analogy that I like to use, because I basically have to work on engagement with the agents in each brokerage that I work with, and I have to talk about this in terms that the agents like, because it's familiar. Okay. So one great analogy is it's no mistake that in every great mall in America, okay, there's a food hall. And in that food hall, okay, there are the same brands, okay? And one of the prime positions is to be the Starbucks in the food hall in the Mall of America, okay? And that's what I do with brokerages. I take the broker and I virtually put them into the virtual real estate mall, and I put them in the actual spot.
You put them in the prime location. In the
Yes.
prime location.
Yeah, and the people can come in there and they know what to do. Everybody knows how to order a grande macchiato, or whatever they call it.
Right.
They know to line up.
Right.
They don't argue. You know, they
Right.
stand there and I'm going to wait for this coffee. This is the best coffee that I've ever had. Right? So everyone's been trained on how to be a Starbucks client. Okay.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if you don't position your whole business and your model as being the Starbucks in the food hall in the center of the best mall in America, okay, then you're missing a trick, because out there is a mall, it's full of real estate buyers, and they're looking for Starbucks, okay, they're looking for the real estate broker who's Starbucks.
Right.
So what I do is I put you there, is positioning.
Okay, prove it.
Okay.
What happened? Tell us the
Okay,
story.
well, the story works like this. So, I have worked for quite a few different real estate brands. I was a broker in England. I had my own brokerage. So I learned.
Wait, you're English?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sure.
So, and I called it English Estates, and we worked in a very well-to-do area, because obviously you would choose to be in a nice, good area with good price points, and I built a business, okay? And then obviously the 2005 crash came, and that happened all over the world. It wasn't an American problem, it was a global banking crisis. So I basically got a flight, and I looked at the real estate commissions that were possible and the earnings that are possible in the two countries, and I said, okay, goodbye England, hello America.
Right.
All right. So in the hardest market, when everything was just falling apart and everybody was just dying, I started in America. So it wasn't the easiest ride.
Right.
Okay. So what
I remember that because that's where I learned to market. Because
Yes.
I was investing in
I
properties at that
learned
point.
to market.
Yeah, you gotta be able to market when you
Yeah.
got 15% interest rates on a house you got
yeah.
to
So
sell.
when everything's a mess,
Yeah.
you've got to learn how to look after your
Yeah.
clients. Okay. So the internet was very, very strong back then. But I mean, to go into dates and where we're exactly at, Facebook really didn't exist. Zillow was looked like a bedroom built website, and it was 2005, I think, they launched that website. So everything was just really evolving and coming to the fore. So I just feel very privileged that I was at that point. So what's the story? So today I'm now working with different clients, different brokerages in different networks. Some of them are boutique, small town, but very high profile agents in a smaller town, so they're the big fish in the smaller sea. And then there's the branded brokerages, there's the big, obviously the nationals. And what I've found is every one of them has everything they need, but the plan, the solution, the process of how to put it together. So this is the result. So I'm just you won't be able to see this too easily on here. But what we're going to do is we're going to have this inserted as a screenshot.
Okay. You go ahead and point.
But basically, there's 47,000 lead registrations, and lead is a four-letter word to me.
Yes.
Okay. We're not going to talk about leads because this isn't about leads.
Good,
Okay.
because everybody thinks they're junk, and most of them are, like you're saying.
Well, they are because the statistics are there's 5.5 million transactions in America every year, and Zillow generate 150 million leads for those 5 million transactions.
Right.
So stands to reason that nearly every lead that you buy won't work.
Right. Excellent point.
150 million.
How many of you
leads.
have ever heard that before?
That's just Zillow.
Yeah.
Realtor.com,
Right.
homes, all that. So there are probably 500 million leads generated a year for 5 million transactions.
Yeah.
The math doesn't add up.
Right.
It's relationships.
Some of those are repeat leads, obviously, but yes,
Yeah,
you're right.
well, they are
Yep.
repeat leads.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
10 people working the same client.
Yep.
So this is about relationships. So taking the numbers in graphical form, it's a lot easier just to sort of show the effect of what took place. So when this slide comes up on there, basically I came into the broker and we put in the processes. Okay, and we developed the processes, and we can talk. You can guide me through what you want to see.
So when is this? Like-
Okay, so this is in approximately 1 year ago.
Okay.
Okay, so around about April, May of 2017.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna move the mouse here. Go ahead.
Yeah, and what actually happened was we went
Yeah,
from 125 requests for info. We started to get 1,000. A request for info, by the way, is a person asking to see a home or information about it. From 0
Right.
to 120s, 1,000, and now we're up to this 40,000. Okay,
Right.
so it's scale.
Yeah, that's 40,000 right there. For
Yeah.
those of you who
Okay.
can see.
So, all right. So that's a great story.
I like this part because it's like you come in, you came in about here,
Yeah,
right?
fix
and
the
then
systems.
adjust systems. We're going to talk about that in just a second. And then you get to this point right here, and it's like, boom, straight up.
Yeah, vertical takeoff from. So basically, we went from less than 1,000 people contacting the company in a month to 10,000 by a system fix. Then we applied the marketing process and took it up to 25, 30,000, and now we're on a progressive climb. So it's like launching a rocket.
Right.
We're in orbit. Okay, we're now in up where the satellites are, and we're flying around the world, and everything's growing nicely.
So we need to talk about all kinds of stuff
How do
here,
we-
but there's all kinds of questions like, how do you know these leads? I mean, so what? If leads are crap, who cares if you have 40,000 leads, right? And it's like, how many are closing? What's the process? How do you apply these systems? But let's just assume, and you'll see, it's a fact, but nevertheless, with this hockey stick growth, let's just assume that a small percentage of them, just like industry standard, right? Let's say that 3% of them, like you were saying, were good, right?
Yeah.
On 40,000 leads.
12,000.
Yeah.
1,200. Sorry.
Yeah. 12. That's 1,200 transactions at whatever 200,000-300,000, whatever the average is. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's more than that. I know that it's more than that.
It's
but I
big
can't go
money.
into this.
I mean, I have a confidentiality agreement with the clients that I work with, so we don't kind of publicly talk about that. But
Okay.
to put it this way, if we were to say that I can, with a system and with a process, we can look at bringing in 100 million more in closed transactions very, very quickly.
Yes.
That's achievable.
Yes.
Okay, and we can one-on-one with a brokerage, I can actually prove that.
I think
So-
there's a couple people that just saying it over there.
Okay.
We've lost them. They're like,
Well,
like 100 million. They're like,
Yeah, I mean,
that's-
it sounds like a big number, but it's 20% increase in a higher end brokerage.
Right.
Okay, so if you're a brokerage doing $500 million a year,
Right.
I want to try and give you a 20% push.
Right.
Okay, and that's worth
Yes.
doing.
The
Okay?
surprising thing to me, and we're not going to get into this, but is how low the ad spend was to make that happen. Like just thinking about, because when I run marketing for individual agents, they're usually spending $500 or $1,000 a month kind of thing, and then you apply the process. It's really all about the process on the back end, not even the leads. But it's very manageable. Like it's unbelievably manageable. The cost for some of it, it's crazy what's happening in the world. It's a very exciting time to be in real estate.
Yeah,
Once you have the
absolutely. Yeah,
process.
this is not expensive.
Okay.
Now that was my first goal. So the story works like this. I joined a brokerage. I realized this brokerage has got some amazing tools. But what I did understand very quickly is that the people who'd been trained to teach us how to use the tools, okay, who were external to the company, okay, they were kind of new to it,
Right.
So I knew there was something missing. That's all I could tell you. When you just, there's something you don't know. So what I did was I went and looked at what we really wanted to achieve, okay? So I talked to the broker. I sat down and said, what do you want to achieve? What's your 2017, 2018, your 2020 vision? Your
Right.
goal, where do you want to be in 2020?
Ooh, that's good.
Okay?
2020 vision. Do you have a 2020 vision? That's a whole
Yeah,
nother
everybody has
conversation.
2020 vision when they're
Yeah.
born, and we need
Yeah.
to have 2020 vision. So 2020 is coming up, it's 18 months away. I encourage every broker to write a brand new business plan for 2020.
Awesome.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right, so what we're looking at is the 3 key wants, desires, you could call them problems, okay? But they're actually goals and desires, which are a problem, and this is the process that
Okay.
solves it. So everybody, without exception, I've not spoken to a broker, and I speak to a broker every day. Everybody wants to recruit,
Yes.
but they want to recruit the right agents. Or they want to bring new agents into the business and train them and have them working effectively. And I have a couple of stories.
Is there anybody out there who doesn't want new high quality agents?
Yeah,
in their
switch
brokerage?
off now.
Yes.
Bye. Okay, so if you want to bring in new high quality agents, so you want to recruit, the reason that we have to recruit is because it's through recruitment that we achieve market share in our world. So we have a geographic area as a brokerage, and we want to be a fraction of a percent better, 2% better. But to do that, you have to grab market share. Market share does not come, it's taken. Okay?
Yeah.
So that was the second thing that the
Yeah,
wants.
Alpha.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Taken.
Yeah, it's taken. Okay, so you want to recruit agents, you want to take market share. They're kind of one and the same. But here's the big thing. You've got to retain them.
Right.
Okay, so everybody is so focused. We're having the recruitment meetings. We're out there offering free training. We're doing seminars in hotels. We're telling everybody what a great brokerage we are. You should come work for us. And 6 weeks later, the same agent is crying in your office. Okay, because there's a bill that can't be paid. Because they're heading towards doom and gloom because things just aren't working out for them. It's a common story. You know, changing brokerages is hard. This process makes it easy for the agent to change brokerage. It's very, very easy for them. So in having that in place, it increases your recruitment potential.
Yeah, and let me just point to this. If you remember the hockey stick graph, I've asked you this before. Why did the hockey stick stop here? I mean, it did. It continues to go up, but why did it continue to go up?
Because we couldn't cope with any more. There was too much.
It would require more recruiting, more.
Yeah. We didn't have enough agents.
Right.
So we had to slow it down to bring in more agents.
Have you ever had a system overload you?
Yeah.
Right. That's the question that I have for all. Like, I mean, this is now. It used to be, and we see it still with. Name that brand that rhymes with Willow, where you only get a few, right? You get a couple leads a month kind of thing, and you work those leads kind of thing. But now, the industry is changing, and like you talked about all the leads, there's a lot of them flowing in, right? And
Yeah,
it's like,
well,
how do you
there's
manage
really not a lot of. I'm a little more critical of
Mm-hmm.
the company that runs. But they've taken a major step.
Yes.
Okay, they've
Mhm.
taken a major step. They are actually operating a concierge.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking to the
They
client.
know. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know these guys,
Right.
right? So what are they doing? They're looking at the human side of it. Okay.
And they have a back, and they're trying to assist the agents in the back end process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So why did it do that? But it's because I intended it to do that. So
Mhm.
basically, we got to this point and we thought, okay, now we need to go out. We've got proof that we can show agents this
Mhm.
is really going to be right for you.
Right.
Let's bring in the right people.
Right.
And here's the thing about real estate agents. Okay, my average agent in this particular agency is 60 years old.
Wow.
It didn't scare
Yeah.
them. This
Yeah.
isn't technology, remember. This is
Right.
this is dealing with people.
Right.
Okay? And that's what the agents are very good at. So this appeals to younger millennial
Yeah.
agents right the way up. It's really
You guys are seeing a graph, and we're on the computer. I'm sure you're watching this on a phone or computer, so you're
Yeah.
thinking tack, and we've been trained to think that way. But this
Yeah.
all came down to person, eyeball to eyeball, belly to belly.
absolutely yeah.
Yeah.
So let's really get into that. Okay.
Okay.
So
So step one,
yeah.
obviously, you have to generate leads. That's easy now. It's way easier than it's ever been.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter where it's coming from in some respects. I mean, a lot of talk about bad leads and stuff like that, but the fact of the matter is, to get gold, you've always got to sift through stuff. It's never just, you know what I'm saying?
You've got to pan a lot of gravel to get a piece of gold.
Exactly. So there's leads, and it doesn't matter if it's coming from Google or Facebook or direct mail or outbound phone calls or name that says magazines, whatever the other ones that you would name. Those all have to go somewhere. We don't really need to get that deep into that because
No, but every single opportunity to do business,
Right.
okay, from wherever it is,
Mhm.
ought to be run through the process,
Right.
which is what I want to really talk about.
Right.
Okay.
So you have a lead. The next step 2 of any real estate transaction is somebody has to have a conversation with that lead, right? It used to be if it was a lead, they were calling in off a phone call or they were calling in saying, I need to list my home. The lead was a conversation, right? Now, leads aren't necessarily a conversation. They're a response to some sort of marketing. And one of the biggest frustrations and challenges that I hear from the individual agents, which then affects the brokers and the team leads, is, well, the leads are crap, I'm not talking to anybody. The only thing they're doing is maybe calling once, or some of them are banging the phones and still not getting through to people. Ugh, right? Just, how do you get the conversation? Right?
Okay, so here's the answer to that. Okay, first of all, mindset training. Okay, so what I do is I talk to the agents and I say it's perfectly okay to fail 97% of the time on an internet lead.
Mhm.
So just be aware that that's the best that other people are doing.
Yes.
Okay, so think of that. However, if we could nurture, instead of having to work a lead,
Right.
if we could have a process that nurtures that lead and identifies the ones that are going to want to speak with an agent,
Mhm.
that agent suddenly becomes a very, very happy person because they're now dealing with people who want to speak to them. And that's what they're used to. They're used to people walking into the office
Right.
or in their sphere of influence
Mhm.
or through a professional connection or a
Right.
referral. They're used to talking to people who want to talk to them.
Mhm.
Whereas life assurance salespeople
Mhm.
sell something that
I
everybody
do that.
needs,
Yeah.
okay, but nobody wants.
Right.
Right? And they're
Right.
used to talking to people who don't want to buy
Yes.
their product.
Yes.
Okay? The great thing about real estate is everybody wants to buy a lovely home,
Yeah.
you know? So we're selling something people want,
Right.
okay? But what happens is we're finding them way early in the process.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're actually developing that relationship with the prospect who's going to buy in 3 months, you know,
Mhm.
60, 90 days.
Mhm.
Okay, sometimes we're a little ahead of that, and that's
Mhm.
great.
Mhm.
There's a big opportunity to be had
Yeah.
in that.
We all
So-
know the money's in the follow-up.
Yeah, so it's all about that process. So
Mhm.
so bringing it into kind of like a conclusion, if you like, with the process side of it, is if we have an environment where we can invite the person, not the lead, let's drop the word lead.
Mhm.
If we invite the person, the prospect, to communicate with us, we've got to ask them one simple thing:
Mhm.
how do you want to communicate? Okay, because for me,
Right.
cell phone, no.
Right.
Email, absolutely not. I get millions of emails.
Right.
Okay? Just forget about it.
Mhm.
Leave me a voicemail?
Mhm.
No. ain't picking that up.
I hardly listen to my voicemails.
Yeah, okay, if you want to reach me,
Yeah.
it's SMS text message or it's some form of messaging app. Okay, so Facebook Messenger, whatever it might be.
Right.
So for me, that
Right.
would be mine.
Some people prefer phone though. Some
Okay.
people want to just
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what do? You ask them. So in part of your follow-up process is you ask them, how do you want to communicate going forward? And that is the first response from the human being, is I want to talk to you this way.
Yes.
Okay? So then what you do is you switch off all your other channels and you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever it may be,
Right.
channels to communicate with. And then all of a sudden you go, okay, I know where I need to be focusing my efforts.
I know right now that some of you are missing this because we're getting deeper into it and it's good. We need this. We're not
Yeah.
going too deep. But here's the thing. Most, in my experience, tell me if you agree, most brokerages are training their people when a lead comes in, call them,
Yes.
right? And setting up systems, we can do things like, and this is what you were mentioning with channels, right? What we're talking about with channels is most of the people aren't responding to the phone calls.
Mhm.
Why? Because phone call isn't their preferred methodology. They don't recognize the number,
Yeah.
and they don't want to talk to a salesperson because they may be 90 days out, and the part they hate worst about the process is talking to the salesperson. So what else can we do? Well, we can text, right?
Mhm.
You talked about video bomb and stuff like
Mhm.
that, right? Stuff like that. I'm sure you guys have heard of that kind of thing. You can text. You can email. Those are kind of the obvious ones. Call, text, email, right? Then it gets deeper than that.
Well, there's chatbots, which is the
Yes.
latest thing that's happening.
Yeah.
So you're using almost a form of artificial intelligence.
Yes.
It isn't.
Right.
Okay, it's a much overused term, artificial intelligence, but
Mhm.
it's essentially a script where you have a conversation until the person requires human intervention
Right.
in that conversation. So, but without going too deep on all of that stuff, okay, what I'm basically saying is the client will ask us to communicate in the way that
Yes,
suits
but
them.
here's the point I wanted to make. I got to push this point for them
Okay.
because I know that at those 10 or whatever number, there's like 10 different ways
Yeah.
we talked about that we can communicate. If you don't have the system set up to be doing that initial communication inside of a channel
That
that they're interested in having a conversation on,
Yeah.
then you never get the conversation. And that's it's person. I'm going to use the 4-letter word again, lead,
Yeah.
and then conversation. And
Yeah.
most of them don't have the process to have the tools to automatically initiate conversations so that we're speaking on channels that they're willing to converse on. And if you don't have that, they never answer that question
That's
that
right.
you're talking about.
Yeah. So basically, it's essentially that you have to have a process, a system it's like an old-fashioned distributor cap on a car. You know, you got your spark plugs that's spinning around.
Never seen one.
Okay. Okay. So basically, you know, you got the leads that go into the cylinders
Yep,
on a motor.
yep, yep.
Okay. Well, they're sending sparks into the cylinders. Okay, in a certain order.
Uh-huh.
Okay. That's what this process does. It sends a message down one. Does it fire the cylinder? Does the client respond? No. Okay. Boom. I'll go down the next one. Boom. Isn't a big V8 engine?
Right.
So we've got 8 different stages where we're firing
I
out
like it.
messages, okay? And when all of a sudden a cylinder will fire, okay? And that's the system, the process that I built, responds back and goes, yeah, okay, turns all the others off, and then starts a sequence, and we start a conversation.
Yes. So now you have a conversation, which
Yeah.
is why I think a lot of agents are frustrated.
Yeah.
And brokers are trying to solve the problem, to bring the value, to make sure they can retain these people, and then they go out and they buy leads, and then they're not getting that feedback
Yeah.
loop, and it's because they don't
And
have the system.
here's the big thing, okay? The person that we're dealing with is not looking for an agent
Correct.
at that moment.
Yes.
They are looking for information.
Mhm.
Accurate,
Mhm.
timely, appropriate, targeted, and they're looking for it to be delivered in a very, very user-friendly and understandable format. That's part of the process that we put together as well. So it's not only that we communicate, it's how you then
Yes.
communicate.
Yes.
So what we've got to do is we've got to think about the human being. So let's go back to the analogy, okay? So this is how it works now. All right, this is Zillow. This is a Zillow lead.
Yes.
Okay, or it's a whatever lead from
Right.
anywhere. Okay.
Mhm.
So the lead comes in, and if we go back to a regular bricks and mortar store, and a person's walked into the store, okay, they're in the real estate office, and there's a receptionist and having a look around, and there's a few pictures of houses. Then 10 real estate agents come running in, go, hey, I want to talk to you. Another one here, another one there. There's 10 of them. Oh, yeah, come on, whoa, talk
I've
to
never
me.
seen them so energetic. This
Okay,
is great.
so, but what I'm saying is that's what happens to the poor people who make
Yes.
an inquiry on a property.
Yes.
Okay? Because Zillow sell the lead 4 times.
Right.
But the